Are those pajamas?
All right, questions for Coach?
Health of all three of the kids that didn't play.
Malcolm practiced yesterday and Lance practiced yesterday with no pressures yesterday, but we don't know if he's going to be out Thursday. We don't know yet. We'll know more tomorrow. He didn't look bad. He's walking around, so that's a good sign. Hope.
What was the injury to Precious?
Almost like back, tailbone area, how he fell.
Okay.
Got undercut when he went for a block, and it came down pretty hard.
Has he just been banged up because you said he missed practice from knickknacks. I watched him getting stretched out before the game on Saturday. So where would you say, like, health-wise, is this the
He's banged
wall,
up.
or?
He's banged up because he's having to do a lot. He's having to play all 5 positions, guard all 5 positions, and block shots and rebound and do so much for us. So yeah, he's getting banged up. It's just freshman woes, you know. You play like how he plays and how we need him to play. You're gonna get those little injuries. And he's been like tripped up, knocked out of the air, poked in the eye, all kind of things during practice over the last couple of weeks as well. So that adds to it.
Is there a sense of frustration with the players because this hasn't exactly gone? But how do you avoid that? Or it's probably just natural at certain times when things aren't going well.
I think it is natural, but I think for them it's more individual. Like they're frustrated because things aren't happening individually for them. And as a team, the focus needs to be on team. I think young guys, that's going to happen. Freshmen, it tends to happen more.
What's the mindset following the loss from South Florida going to Cincinnati this week?
It's not good, but I'm being a competitor that I am. I'm glad that we have 2 tough games. We can't lay down. You can't go through the motions. You got to go and play, and you got to go win. These are games that could get you back to where you need to be, and it's 2 tough places to play, and it's going to show us a lot about how we bounce back from things and where we are.
You say where we are. Where do you think you are right now?
I mean, we're 6-4. But no, I'm just saying, like, as far as, you know, the last time we got blown out at Tulsa, came home and lost a 12-point lead with 7 minutes to go to an SMU team, and then we lose a game against South Florida that I don't think we should have lost. A lot of things happen, foul trouble, injuries, you can make up all the mistakes, but you still got to win that game. How are we going to bounce back from that?
Coming into the year, it was all about let go of the egos. We talked about the frustration. Is it harder to keep the egos in check when they're winning or when it's struggling?
I think the same problems that have been there in the beginning are still there now because it's a young team. I don't think anything has changed. I think that when you're winning, obviously you can hide those, and when you're losing, they come out. So it's just how it's always worked on every team.
If you are to be successful in these next 8 games, what do you think has to be better?
Man, the toughness of how we play, the 50-50 balls, the boxing out, the mindset we had going into Tennessee has to be every game. And like I said, we lost that edge that we had as guards, rebounding, blocking out, hitting people, getting on the floor, doing whatever it takes. And I like being in this position because that's what we have to do now. There's no such thing as we can't do it. We're not going to box out. We're going to lose a rebounding battle. There's no time for any of that right now. We have to do all the little things.
Why do you think the team lost that edge?
Just youth. Not thinking that it's important, thinking that you're going to win because you just show up. I think that's what happens because we preach it every day. We talk about carryover from practice to the games. And then when we're in the games, we're preaching it during all the huddles. It just has to be a mindset, and now that mindset is here.
Isaiah Maurice has put up better numbers over the past couple of games. How much of that do you think is because he's more comfortable and relaxed on the court, knowing that you guys are shorthanded, and if he makes a mistake, he may not necessarily be yanked right out?
Yeah, our whole team isn't about how many mistakes you make. It's how you're following the game plan. You got to be able to follow a game plan. There's no knock on Isaiah. We need every kid on this team to be ready. But I'm not a coach that micromanages. It's not. You don't come out of the game because you miss a play or you miss a shot or make a turnover. I mean, that's been known. Guys have stayed on the floor. But if you don't know the game plan, then you're going to hurt the team and you can't play. So it's more to the basketball game than just scoring. And that's what every guy on this team needs to understand. And that's why we're losing the games that we're losing, because when you put certain matchups out there and certain groups out there, those groups don't mesh together because 3 guys know the game plan, 2 guys don't. 3 guys are playing hard, 2 guys aren't. It's just what we've been going through lately. So it's not about the offensive end. I think that's what young guys think.
Obviously, you had a very successful game plan against Cincinnati for the first time, all of them 49 points. What do you need to replicate from that first meeting, especially now that you're on the road?
Well, how we played the pick and roll, I think we did a really good job on Cumberland. When they went into the high pick and roll, we did some things that a lot of teams haven't done against him. I'm sure they'll be ready for it because now he has the ball for 40 minutes in his hands out top. But we just got to make him uncomfortable the entire game.
You did a great job, Precious in particular, on Vogt. What happens if Precious can't play? What's the backup plan on him?
That was more Malcolm and the bigs. Precious didn't really guard him as much, but Malcolm really did a heck of a job on him, pushing him off his post, understanding what plays were coming. And if Precious did guard, he would do the same thing. But if he can't go, then Malcolm's got to do the job without getting into foul trouble. That kid's he's a handful.
Lester did a pretty good job against. It seemed like he got him frustrated a little bit when he was on. You expect him to try to go and body up against him?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lester's not going to back down. Obviously, him coming off a 1-for-11 game against UConn and him not beating us because he expects to just beat us every time he shows up. He let it be known to me in the handshake line that we got away with something, a win that we shouldn't have gotten. So I'm sure he'll be more than ready when we get to Cincinnati. But Lester will be ready as well. The whole team will be.
So he literally told you in the handshake line?
Yeah, he did.
Have you had to be more tough on these guys because of worry that they might just check out and be done now that this
There is a fine line with young guys because you got to pump them up more than you have to get on them because they're already kind of emotional about their own games. And if you push them too hard, then they'll fold. You got to kind of give some good with some bad and kind of make it 50-50. It can't just be all one thing, but there also has to be an understanding of where you are and where we are as a group and what needs to happen moving forward for us to be successful.
What have you learned about sort of is that something that you've learned or over time or
Yeah, it's
about
something that
just
you learn.
managing the entire
It's something that you
operation?
learn because I'm very competitive and I want to yell and I want to scream and I want to stomp, but with this group you can't. They're very sensitive. It's more, the more you love them, the more you talk to them, the more you communicate in a positive way, that's how they respond. They don't respond through yelling and screaming.
You've tried that in practice?
Oh yeah, they'll shut down. They'll shut down for sure.
Do you think that's a generational thing? When
I
you
think
were-
so.
I mean, I don't think Larry Finch babied you.
No. My era, there was no baby. You had to earn everything. And it is this era with all the coaches around the country. I'm sure they'll tell you the same exact thing. Guys expect to play who aren't following the game plan or who aren't playing hard. They just want to be on the floor because of their past history. They don't want to be held accountable. You got to kind of ignore some things and then talk about some things and ignore some things and don't hit them all at once. You got to be positive all the time. So it's difficult.
Did you have people, like when you talk about people being in these players' ears, when you were, did you have people, like when?
No,
it
not
was
even
just you?
close. The coach was the only person I listened to. Honestly, that's what we were taught. We're taught to respect the higher authority, and it's his team, and whatever he says goes, and not challenge that. That's how I've always been taught.
What's it like now, and how much of your job is coaching on the floor and versus managing all this stuff going on?
Coaching on the floor is a lot, but managing it as well is probably the same percentage. Because, most families want their kids to do well. It's not about team all the time. So you have to manage that. Every coach will say that.
This is not something you've seen this in AAU when you were coaching.
Oh yeah,
You had
it's
all
happened.
these kids.
It's happened since I've been back. In high school and AAU and now college. It's happening everywhere.
Is that the loudest outside noise that comes from family members? Or?
Yeah, the outside noise is bad for anybody. It's not good because if you're not in that locker room being a part of a family, then you really don't know. So that's why the guys, we always preach stay together, stay with your brother and listen to the people in this group because we're fighting hard and you have to stay together.
You orchestrated offense a lot more last game and only 11 turnovers. Is that the game plan from here on out?
Yes, for sure. We're gonna change some things up defensively too because we gotta switch it up some because our young guys are being handed a deal where they have to guard these senior to grad transfers at the end of the games, and we haven't voted well with that. So we got to help them out a little bit by changing things up, and there's also a challenge to them as well to get better in certain areas. So yeah, going to control the offense and switch some things up defensively as well.
You got the turnovers under control, like you said, but the rebounding battle was way lopsided. So how do you fix that and get them?
Yeah, that doesn't usually happen, but that was disheartening because at home you have to scrap and fight, and that was all toughness. That's all a part of the 50-50 balls, the toughness that you got to bring every single night. It doesn't matter how many points you have. If you don't give them extra shots, block them out, and you get the 50-50 balls, and you make your free throws, you have a great opportunity to win.
Got time for one more?
Where's the confidence of the team going into Thursday's game?
Confidence isn't really high because, you know, they're a young group, and you lose a game at home that you weren't supposed to lose. But the one thing I can say is they're locked and loaded to get ready to go fight in Cincinnati.
Look, I gotta get this one in, because we just came from the Grizzlies. So, if you can hit that injury update one more time about who's ready, who's not ready.
Well, yesterday Malcolm Dandridge and Lance Thomas both practiced, but Precious didn't. But he was walking around, wasn't laboring or limping or anything. So we're trying to get him ready for Thursday. Hopefully he'll be ready by Thursday.